You know, when this journey first began, I did not know where it was going to lead me. Another episode of a dose of
Get a
Nikki.
dose of Nick. If you ever feel down, you wanna be around. Get a dose of Nick. Get a dose of Nick.
So you decided to check out a dose of Nikki, and those that are returning, I thank you and welcome to the newbies. I would like for us to continue talking about the segment on metaphor for life, right? About gardening. In this particular episode, we're going to dive into nurturing growth. We're going to touch upon that, okay? We're going to explore how the care we give to plants parallels the care we need to show ourselves and our relationships. Yeah, pretty interesting, huh? See, this is going to touch upon self-care, mental health, and the importance of nurturing our own needs in order to thrive, just as a gardener waters and fertilizes their plants. So, as my journey, my gardening journey has evolved. I told you all about my black thumb thought. And basically, if a plant looked at me, it was pretty much doomed. And how I even managed to kill a ZZ plant that is supposed to be nearly indestructible, but no matter how many times I tried, it just did not survive. So eventually I threw in the towel and thought maybe, this gardening thing isn't for me, or me being a plant mommy isn't for me. But then I decided to change my mindset and approach towards nurturing not just the plants, but me, myself. And I realized that just like that, like with children or people in general, you really can't treat every plant the same way, just like you can't treat people the same exact way. Each has its unique needs. So I began to research and read up on specific requirements for each type of plant that I liked or was interested in having or had in the home, right? Or wanted to plant the seeds or whatever, right, for it to grow. And I learned when to water them and how often they needed care, and also that not all water is created equal. Now, I'm going to pause for a minute on that one, because I know you're saying, of course not. If you live in one state and I live in another, our water could be hard or soft or whatever. It's a little bit more in depth than that. And I really started to discover that our tap water often contains pH levels and other chemicals that might not be the best for plants or humans for that matter, but that's a whole nother story, and that's why people buy bottled water and all that stuff. So hey, but anyway, I started then to think a little bit more broader and started capturing rainwater. Yep. And I said, after all, well, hey, it's nature's own watering system, right? That's where we started, with the rain. And I noticed how outside, how vibrant and healthy the trees looked after a good rain. And I thought, why not give my indoor plants the same benefit? Now, granted, I've seen a lot of stuff online and people doing these elaborate systems and stuff, and kudos to them. I just did something real simple, caught a little bucket, had my stuff outside, let the rain just pour into it, and boom, got me about a gallon of water. And all my plant didn't need all of that, but I'm just saying, so it was perfect, it's great. And then, not just the water, now we got to focus on fertilizers, right? And that's when I found myself a wee bit overwhelmed by the options available. Like how often should I fertilize? What type of fertilizer is best? It was a lot to take in, but I realized I needed to focus on one plant at a time instead of trying to tackle them all at once. That was the key right there. I was trying to do this one, and I had spider plant, and I had snake plant, and I wanted all kinds of plants, right? And so then I said, okay, well, you know what? I heard about the app, And, that would help me keep track of watering and fertilizing schedules and stuff. But, it was helpful, but it was overwhelming. Like 5 plants, 5 different things, all these notifications going off. It was getting to be a bit much. And it reminded me basically of managing people, group of people. You just can't treat everyone the same, but you need to identify their strengths and their weaknesses to provide the right support, right? And so this concept applies to our own self-care as well. Just as you can't use the same moisturizer for every skin type, you need to tailor your self-care routine to your individual needs. So that's what I have to do with the plants, and that's what we have to do in life. It's about taking the time to understand what works best for you. And that's essential for growth. That's it. So for my plants, I learned to water them in a way that mimics natural rain. Follow me. Come on, I'm telling you. So instead of like taking a bottle of water, right, or a cup, and filling it with water and then pouring it like directly on one spot, like the root area, or going around the root or the stem in a circular motion, I used a watering container with a spout. And that spout wasn't just a single hole, it had multiple holes. Like I said, it mirrored the rain, right? And that allowed for gentle, even distribution. And this way, the water seeps into the soil and reaches the roots without overwhelming them. So similarly, we need to hydrate ourselves regularly. Don't wait until you're dehydrated where you need now IV and stuff like that, or you find yourself talking funny because your throat is all dry and stuff, or running to go and pretty much put your hand underneath the water underneath the faucet to get yourself so you can drink some water because you're so thirsty. Why are we doing that to ourselves? I don't get it. I get like you have to sometimes say that to yourselves, like what are we doing here, right? But drinking water consistently, we all know that drinking water consistently throughout the day promotes health and vitality. It helps us grow strong and feel our best. We know this, and we know this, but we don't do it. But we should really force ourselves to do that. It's important. And then we also need to care for our minds. Yeah, our minds. Just like we brush and floss our teeth to keep them healthy, we must engage in activities that nourish our mental health. Really, truly, it's serious. Like this can mean taking time out of our, I'm putting my finger in quotes, busy schedules for hobbies. It sounds corny, but yeah, hobbies. Meditation, or even my favorite, a day at the spa. There's nothing like getting somebody to massage me or give me a little facial, whatever. Ooh, the whole ambiance, rocks for me. I love it. So it's vital to set aside time for ourselves amid the hustle and bustle of daily life. Please listen to me. It is important to carve out that time for ourselves. See, self-care looks different for everyone too. Oh yeah, it does. What works for you may not work for me. I may not like that. Just like I said, I love a good massage. You may not like people touching you, and I get it. But like I said, whether it's a massage, and you may like a quiet moment with a cup of tea, just looking out the window, looking at nothing, looking at the walls. I don't know, but you like it. That works for you. That's relaxing. Do it. You may want. You like your hair getting massaged, get your hair washed and conditioned. You might like that. These, whatever it is, these are the acts of nurturing. That's what it is. They contribute to our overall well-being and growth. That's it. It does. So to thrive in life, our bodies and minds must be strong. So this means eating nourishing foods, staying active, and engaging our minds. You got to do it. You have to engage your mind. And this is through reading, listening to podcasts, hint, hint, mine, or learning new skills. And I don't care how mature you are, you can learn a new skill. If it was something you wanted to do and you never had the opportunity because you were, too busy, well, now is the time. Do it. Do it. Learn a new skill. It is so much out here for you to learn. Take advantage of it. Love it. So just as a garden flourishes with the right care, we too can cultivate a fulfilling life by what? Nurturing ourselves. That's what we need to do. So as we wrap up today's episode, I am going to encourage you to reflect on how you can nurture your own growth. Okay? I want you to think about what exact small changes you can make to ensure you're taking care of yourself. Both what? Physically and mentally. Don't forget, it's both physically and mentally. And remember, just like a garden, we need consistent care and attention to thrive. Consistent. So, I thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me today on A Dose of Nikki. And I can't wait to see how you nurture your own growth. Please speak freely in the comments and share, because your one word or your little bit of opening up and sharing what you did to nurture yourself may encourage somebody else to do it too. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, stay fab, keep growing, and be well, my friends. Be well. Now, if you enjoyed this episode, join us next week for another exciting conversation.